Hi guys, it's Night Fear, and I am coming on today to do my February wrap-up. I know it is the very last day of February, and yeah, I'm not going to read any more today or finish anything else today, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this month. So this month I read 15 books, and I have one DNF, and I'm not sure if it's going to be a forever DNF or if I just maybe need to reread the first book in the series and then read the next one. I just couldn't get into it. But I'll tell you about that one at the end. All right. So the very first book that I read, for this month, now this is Black History Month here in the States, and as I was picking out these books, I didn't really take into account, but just so happened a few of the books that came in and a few of the books that I wanted to read did kind of work for that. So I did read several Black authors this month. That's not an uncommon thing for me. I usually read pretty diversely, so it just kind of worked out that way. But there are some ones that I really, really want to share with you that I really hope that maybe I can get you to read too. Okay, so the very first book that I read was Bitter Blue by Christine Kishore. And this is the continuation. I'm not sure what this one is called. But the first book is Graceling, and then it goes to Fire, and then this is the third one. They all do connect. The second one is more of a companion, but it does have some connections to the other books. So I don't know why people are saying you don't have to really read that one or blah, 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 because they do connect, and you do see it as you go through the books. Anyway, so I can't really tell you what this one is about, but I will tell you what Graceling is about. So this world is where people have graces, and graces are like if you might be, and you're born with them. So you might be born with an extreme, you might be able to cook better than anybody else. And so that's your grace. Or you might be able to fight better, or you might be able to run faster, or, there's just several different things. And so her grace in Graceling is to kill, and she gets used for this. And so we're following, and I can't even remember her name, fudge. Anyway, we're following that character, and then, so you're learning about the world, and then it just goes on from there. I gave this 5 stars. I really, really love the way that Kristen Kishore writes. I really love this world, and the very first book I will be reading in March, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, will be Winterkeep, which is the next book in this series. So I'm really excited about reading that. And so I definitely needed to read this book this month so that I could go on to that. But I'm definitely happy, and I can't believe I waited so long to read this. I'm not sure why. I've just kind of been, I don't know, series, I keep starting them and I need to finish more of them, but I'm not the only one, because I've noticed other people that have the same problem. All right. So that was the first book. The next book that I read, if I can get my Kindle cooperate, was hold on one second, guys. I don't know why that was the one that came up, because I thought I exited that out. Okay, there we go. Was Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Now, I have read several books by her. I read the oh my goodness gracious. Of course, they're all... Anyway, I've read books by her before. This book was good. I enjoyed it. It just seemed, I don't know, not as good as I wanted it to be. I did give it 4 stars because, like I said, I did enjoy it, but it definitely wasn't anywhere near a 5-star book. I did like this world. It was very interesting. This is about a world where Zeus has cursed the gods, and every 5 years? I think it's every 5 years, for this 1 week, the gods are turned into mortals, and they are hunted. And if you kill a god, then you steal the god's powers. And so you can imagine how that turns out. And so we're following this girl who has left the world, and we find out why she's left that, not the world, but the world of these gods, because it's not known by normal humans. It's kind of their own, like how do you put it? It's a hidden world. Kind of like in Percy Jackson, where it's a hidden world, not all mortals know about it. But she leaves that, and there are reasons. Not going to go into it. You have to read the book. And she ended up getting drugged back into it. So we're following her, and we're finding out about this world, and learning this and that, and learning about the gods, and just learning all kinds of stuff. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. It just wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. So, but if you really like the Greek gods, I would definitely recommend this book. All right. So let's do it this way because it works better. Okay. So the next one I read for the month is Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline. I've loved Ready Player 1. And when I found out that there was a second one coming out, I was like, oh, cool. And my library happened to get it. And this book started out really slow. Because like the first one, to me, from what I remember, and it's been a while, but I remember it just being very fast paced and me just really enjoying it and hardly being able to put it down. This one, it's like the first part of it was just kind of like, ugh. And I kept reading. Luckily, I didn't DNF because it does get better. So if you started this and you're like, oh, no, it does get better. You get back into the trying to find clues and stuff like that you had in the first one. You do get back into that in this one. But if you don't know what Ready Player One is, Ready Player One is a book about a dystopian world, a very dystopian world, that people escape into this game, and it's like a virtual world, and there is a hunt for this Easter egg, because if you find these Easter eggs, you will, the winner ends up inheriting stuff and everything. So this is following right after that. So we're seeing the characters from the first one in this one, and like continuing on, and we've got a new little mystery that we have to solve. So but yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I liked it, but like I said, the beginning was just so slow. I don't know, I was a little disappointed in the beginning, but the ending was great. I liked the where it ended up, and what we learned about the world and about the creator of the world, and yeah, it was really good. It was good. I liked it. So if you did like the first one, I definitely would recommend this one. The next one I read was Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have read The Poet X. I have read The Fire on High. And now I've read this one. This, to me, was not as good as The Poet X. And it was about as good as The Fire on High. When the Fire's on High. What is that? I just said that and then I can't remember. Anyway, but this is about 2 girls that their father ends up dying in a plane crash, and they don't know about each other, and they find out about each other. That's the story. So I did enjoy this book. It was interesting. Because you get the 2 girls' perspectives, and so you're kind of, living with each one of them as they're finding out about this, and we're learning about, because one of them lives in the Dominican Republic and the other one lives in New York, yes, but don't ask me where in New York because I don't remember, but yeah, so we get that. So I liked the different perspectives. I was a little shocked that that they didn't tell the girls about each other, And from what I understand, this actually happens. And it just it made me a little sad that, yeah, they kind of lost out on each other, but I don't know. But anyway, it's a good book. I gave it 4 stars, and yeah, I recommend it very much. Okay, now this next book was amazing. This is one of those that I hope that you read. But this one is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This is a prequel to The Hate U Give. This is actually telling her father's story. This book was amazing. You get more into the gang, more into, you know, his life, more why he is the way he is with his kids. It's just, oh, I loved it so much. I gave it 5 stars. And it was so powerful, and I didn't want it to end. It was like it was over, and I was like, no, I want more. So I'm hoping that she continues these stories and that we get to, you know, read more in this world, because I love these characters, and I love knowing, you know, the whys, I guess, for what happened in The Hate U Give, and the reasoning for the characters and why they are the way they are. But yeah, I would highly recommend, if you can read this book, to read it, especially if you've read and loved The Hate U Give. You will understand so much more of his character, and like I said, why he is the way he is with his kids. So yeah, highly recommend, highly recommend that one. Okay, the next one is another one that I highly recommend. This is a different kind of a book, something that a perspective you don't see very often. But this is called Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. This is a book about a girl that is HIV positive. She is going to a new school, and she is dealing with, when do you share? When do you tell people, you know, that your HIV status, and just all what goes with that. This was, and the assumptions that are made about why you have that status. This is a very poignant book. I did learn some things because I haven't kept up with the knowledge of what's going on, and that's my fault. And I felt real bad because I was like, really, that's the way it is? And it's just like, oh yeah, duh. So, because when I was in college, I actually took an AIDS class, actually volunteered with people with AIDS, and that's what it was called at the time, and was very, I don't know, more in tune than I am now, obviously, but I definitely would recommend this story. Like I said, it is very powerful. And yeah, so read this. Please read this. And let me know if you've read it and what you think. Okay. The next book is one off of my 2020 list that I wanted to read last year that I never did. I ended up getting an ARC of this, not from it was a weird way. There was just some books sitting out in front of the library, my library one time, and this happened to be one of the books, and it's an ARC of The Seep by Chana Porter. This book was interesting. This is a book about that aliens invade us, sort of. I mean, they do invade us, but it's a weird kind of invasion story, and kind of how people change, and one woman's kind of look at how things have changed and why, and, you know, is it a good thing? Is it not a good thing? And I mean, I was expecting something a little different. I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty good. But it just wasn't as good as what I wanted it to be. I am glad I read it though. It's definitely interesting, and it's one of those books that makes you think. So yeah, I would recommend it. And it's really short too, so which is always nice. All right. The next book. Okay, so these next 3 books are part of a series that I read one right after the other. It's a trilogy, and very weird. At first, for some reason, when I've had this, like, because, like, you can renew library books for ebooks on from my library, like over and over, as long as somebody else doesn't want it. And so I just kept renewing this one. And for some reason, I couldn't remember what it was about. I thought it was a zombie book. So I was like, okay, I've had this on there, kind of in a mood for a zombie book. Let me read it. And so I started reading it. It's not a zombie book. It's a mermaid book. And it's not a normal mermaid book. And they're not really fluffy mermaids. This is about by Michael Buckley. And it's called Undertow. And this is about a girl and her parents, and they are caught up in this, struggle. That's a good word. But they're part of New York. Is it Brooklyn? I think it's Brooklyn. Anyway, their part of New York is cut off, like literally cut off, because they have fences and stuff up, because these creatures have come out of the sea. And they're not sure why these creatures have come out of the sea. There's different, and he does a really great job of describing these different types of creatures, and they're called alphas. They call themselves alphas. And the girl discovers some things, and so she kind of gets sucked into this, and it's a fight of equality for these alphas, basically. And then, of course, there's the government, who's, of course, never good. So anyway, so through these books, you find out about this. So I gave this one a 4, and that's Undertow. Then the second one in the series is Raging Sea. Raging Sea. And I gave this one a 5. It was really good. And we ramped it up from the first one. Let me put it that way, because I don't want to spoil in case you guys might want to read these, because these are really, really good. And then the last one in the series is Heart of the Storm. And this one I gave a 4, because it just kind of slowed back down. It wasn't as, I don't know. And the ending was very interesting. It didn't quite end like I expected it to, but it was still a good ending, and it still fit. But yeah, if you kind of like dystopian books and you want a different kind of a mermaid type, more of a siren kind of, more than a mermaid, but books, I would definitely recommend these. Check these out. They're easy. They're fast. They're not really long. I got them all I got the first one from my library. I got the other 2 from Script. So yeah, very good. Very, very good. So, and I wasn't even expecting to read all those. Okay, so another one I got from my library was The Umbrella Lady. I really enjoy V.C. Andrews. Yes, I know she's not everybody's cup of tea, because her subject matter is a little strange. But this is a brand new book by her, and my library got it, and I am on the automatic list for her books. So as soon as they come out, I get it really fast. So this is a new story, and it's about a little girl who something is not quite right. Something happens to her mother, and her father are on a train, and they get off in this town, and the dad says, "Here, sit right here. I'll be right back." And she's waiting, and all of a sudden this lady with an umbrella comes up and says, "Hey, come to my house and wait for your dad." And that's where the story starts. And then we just go on this wild ride from there. I love the twist at the end. I kind of was thinking that it was going to be something along those lines, but it was still amazing. And I love the ending. And I can't wait for the second one, which is coming out in a few months. And I just hope my library gets it, because usually they do get V.C. Andrews books pretty regularly. So this is just going to be one of those that I can't wait, because it was really good. And yeah, so if you like V.C. Andrews, I would highly recommend. And I did give this one a 5. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure where I was going, because this one is kind of slow. It kind of meanders a little. but there's a lot of stuff that you have to get through and have to understand. And the ending solidified the 5 rating. It was just like, oh yeah, that's definitely a 5. Okay. All right. So the next one, I listened to this one on audiobook. And so this is my nonfiction for the month. Because if you watched my last video, my January wrap up, I am reading a nonfiction for the month. Try to read at least one every month. So this is my nonfiction. And this is called All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. It is a memoir. He reads it. It was an amazing book. You are getting his perspective of being Black and queer. And that's all I'm going to tell you. It was powerful. It makes you angry. It makes you think. It makes you think about how you treat children, how families treat children, how society treats children. Just, and it's an amazing book at looking at the way they, at the way George looks at his world and himself and just, oh, it's so good. Highly recommend if you're going to read this to listen to the audiobook. Yeah. So, and did I tell you rated? I 5 stars, definitely 5 stars. Very happy that I read this. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so then we're getting to the actual physical books. The next one I read is Hunting November by Adriana Mather. This is the second one. The first one is Killing November, which was this one. The first book, it's about something happens to, well, she doesn't know why. Something happens and her father sends her to this school and she doesn't know why. She doesn't know about this world that she's entered into, kind of this assassins, kind of like you almost think of it as like, what are they called? The the Illuminati. There's the word. What the Illuminati would be like if it exists, kind of thing. But she's thrust into this world, has no idea, and you learn about her and some stuff. This one is following like right after that one, and we're just thrust right back in this world. I gave this 4 stars. There's some things that were a little off about this one that I didn't enjoy, but it was still pretty good. And then, I think this is just a duology. I don't think there's a third one in this one. There could be because, it ends pretty good, but I kind of want to know what happens after the ending. So I'm not sure if we're going to get any more from this world or not, but I really liked it. And I would definitely recommend, these 2 books. Like I said, I'm not sure if there's going to be any more in this or not. But yeah, it was really good and I really enjoyed it. So yeah. Okay. These next 2 books I'm going to rave about for a little while. So sorry, but I finished this one last night, or not the night before, and then I finished the last one I'm going to tell you about last night. So they're very fresh, and they're both like this one. Okay, let me just do them. Okay, this is Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. I gave this 5 stars. I thought this was going to be, for some reason, I thought this was like a space retelling type thing, or not retelling, but a space, like in space. That's not what this is. This book, it was so amazing. And I cannot wait. I immediately was like, the next one is supposed to come out. I think it was supposed to come out in September or the fall. I can't remember, but later this year. There's no cover yet. There is no title yet. So I can't even put it like on my TBR. I just kind of wrote it tentatively in my planner because I definitely want to read the next one. But this is about a world. Here, I will show you the world. This is the world, okay? So our characters live, where are they? They live up here, okay? This whole world has been conquered by these people. And I'm not spoiling anything. It's like the whole, it's the you know, that's not really the premise. That's already happened. So we're not, you know, nothing new. So this is kind of the last holdout. So our, excuse me, main character, she is a refugee, and she is a, oh fudge, I can't remember now what they're called. She is a striker. Because the bad guys, they have these things called ghosts, and the ghosts are, like these, they're human still, but they're like, they've been given poison, and they're like these, not really zombies, but kind of, but they're like enlarged, and they're huge, and they have these sharp teeth. And so anyway, she's part of these strikers that go out hunting. Okay. And so, some stuff happens, and does it tell you, I don't want to tell you anything that's going to spoil. Okay. So some stuff happens, and then there's a prisoner captured, and this prisoner is, something's going on with this prisoner. Okay. That's all I can tell you. But this book was amazing. We learn about this world, which is amazing. We learn about this character. We get her mother, we get her friends, we get her oppression by some of the other people because she's a refugee. There's so much going on in this book. And then we get the Sky Hunter, and we get what's going on there. And oh, it's just so good. I just can't wait. I've read some other stuff by Marie Lu, and oh my gosh, she's becoming an auto buy, or not an auto buy, but an auto read, author for me. And this book is amazing. It is a little sci-fi-y kind of, as far as like the, like how the ghosts are made and how other things are done, but there's not really space. There's no space, no space in this. But this world is just so amazing. And I just flew, isn't that cool? And I just flew through this book. And yeah, this is a 5-star, and if I could give it more stars, I'd give it more stars. But I definitely would recommend this one, especially if you have read her books before and like them. Okay, the last one I read yesterday, this one I liked even more than Sky Hunter, and that is Anxious People by Frederick Backman. Oh my goodness, where do I start with this one? I read this all yesterday. It's 360 some pages. No, 330 some pages. I read the whole thing yesterday. I could not put it down. I stayed up till 3 this morning. I just had to finish it. This, I mean, okay, so like one of the things, let me hold on. I usually don't do this, but I have to. This one, one of the things it says, this story is about a lot of things, but mostly about idiots. Okay, that's kind of the tone. This book is hilarious. So I read some of it, and then I was doing some things, and it's on Scribd. You can get this on audiobook on Scribd. So I was listening to the audiobook, which is actually hilarious. I would highly recommend the audiobook. And then last night when everybody was in bed, of course, I had to turn off the audiobook, and then I went back to reading it physically. But I literally was cracking up laughing. And it's very rare that I'll snicker, but I was like laughing at this book. So this is about a bank robber who fails at robbing a bank. And I'm not going to tell you why, because that's part of the funny part. Then tries to escape, and escapes into a viewing of an apartment. And we find out about all the people in the apartment. We find out about the bank robber. We find out about just how all this is kind of connected, and it's just, oh my goodness. it is so fantastic and just so hilarious and so poignant and so it's just like all at the same time. And it's funny because of course he is he's from Sweden, so he's writing about his in his country. And so a lot of those I don't know a lot about Sweden, and so it's hilarious because some of the things you learn about um and it is so funny. I mean, I loved this book. I cannot recommend it enough. 5 stars, 100 stars, just as many stars as I can possibly give this. You guys, you need to read this book. It's amazing. It is just so, so, so good. Yeah, but that's enough. That's enough about this. If you've read this book, let me know because I really would love to talk to you about it. And Sky Hunter too, actually. All right, so now real quick, the book that I DNF'd, The Camelot Betrayal by Kirsten White. I love Kirsten White's. I love her writing. I've read several of her books, enjoyed them all. I even enjoyed the first one, The Guinevere Deception. I loved it. I think I gave it either 4 or 5 stars. I got like, I don't know, 90, 100 pages into this one, and I just couldn't get into this book, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's been because it's been a little while since I read The Guinevere Deception. Maybe I need to read that one again and then read this one. So maybe I need to wait until all the books in this series come out and then just like binge read them. I don't know. I am so upset because like I said, I have loved everything I've read by her and I just don't know. And I hate to DNF it, but it's a library book and I've got so much to read next month. I can't really save it. I'm just, so I'm going to send it back to the library. I'm going to let it sit and figure out what I'm going to do. But for right now, The Camelot Betrayal is getting DNF'd. And I'm just so sad because, just so sad. So, but anyway, guys, those are the books that I read and the one book that I DNF'd for February. Please let me know if you've read any of these or if you are going to read any of these. I still, highly recommend these two, definitely. The Concrete Rose, full disclosure. Those are definitely the ones that I highly recommend for everybody to read. And then, and the All Boys Aren't Blue, if, you like queer books. And then some of the other ones, but definitely these two. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Please remember to always be kind to one another, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.